Welcome to Follow the Content Leaders, a podcast where we want to learn how leaders, entrepreneurs, CEOs, coaches, and consultants have built their businesses and exactly what role has content played in their strategies. So good morning, everyone, and welcome back to a new episode of Follow the Content Leaders. Today I'm here with Tam Kraleva. I again hope I said that properly. She is one of the co-founders of CwaZyLeigh CreaTions. That's a creative brand that produces unique and immersive stories for their audience. So good morning, Tam. How are you today?
Good morning, Monica. I'm very well, and yourself?
Good too. Thank you for joining us. I always like to start these episodes with a quick, bit random question. That's what's the one thing that you always have in your office and that you cannot work without. So, what is that one thing for you, Tam?
So, without product placement, it's the Remarkable. It's the first generation Remarkable, so the very first one that they came out with. Being a writer, for me, being able to write wherever I am and have the feel of pen to paper is really, really amazing for me. So that's always on my desk or next to the bed or wherever I am. I've always got it with me.
I've been very tempted to get one of those myself. I still haven't gotten to it because I already have the iPad, so I feel like it's too much having those two things. But I'll eventually come around to it because I do think it's cool to write on paper, but then I lose all my paper, so it's definitely a good solution. So tell us a bit more about yourself. What is it that you have done? How did you come up with CwaZyLeigh CreaTions in the first place? How did everything started?
So CwaZyLeigh CreaTions is the Lee is actually my middle name. It's a concept that I came up with a couple of years ago. I decided I was going to draw the one day after work and came up with this character, strangely enough. Still the original design, it's just been fleshed out a bit more. I drew him and a couple of the other the crazy being alien characters. And I decided I was going to sew them by hand and sell them as plush. People resonated with them, which I found I really liked. They've got stories, they've got personalities. Things changed over the years. I moved from South Africa to London. Then in London, the story wouldn't leave me. The characters kept bugging me, which was quite nice. So the story, it was building and building and building and like building out the whole world in my mind. And then I met Mira, my partner, and we got a hedgehog together, which is Sir Lawrence Huffington. He's the main star of Crazy Hog. And when we first got him, my mind went crazy again, and it's full of imagination, full of ideas. And then along came Crazy Hog, the project, and his little friends and characters. And it kind of grew from there that Mira's like, no, you need to do something with this now. And CwaZyLeigh CreaTions was born 2 years ago, properly, legitimate company. And we've got the two projects now, which is the Crazy Bean Aliens and Crazy Hog. And we're loving it. It's doing what we love every single day. It's being passionate. It's bringing these characters to life and seeing how our audience and even how the people we work with are resonating with them.
Yeah, it sounds pretty amazing, right? And it's something that only seems to be true or happen for people who end up designing Toy Story, but actually hearing for the same story, because it's the same process from someone like you, makes it very relatable and feels like it's attainable for not everyone, but that if you put your mind to it as you did and you grow the project, it's actually possible, right? So tell us a bit more about what the process looks like. Maybe how does it come from one drawing in your Remarkable that's always with you to this toy that you just showed us?
So as mentioned, I created a couple of the characters myself, hand drawn, but I didn't feel that they were up to scratch, if I can put it that way, when I moved to London. And I connected with an illustrator, Annelies Klonks, who actually lives in Estonia.
Mm-hmm.
and she resonated with the characters as well and fell in love with them from the get-go. So we went through a whole process. It was quite a tedious process at first because it's something I hold close to my heart,
Mm-hmm.
and they're my babies. So I I was very reluctant at first to get someone else to design them, but I also knew that I needed them to look a bit more perfect, if I can put it that way.
Mm-hmm.
Perfect in their own unique way, if I can state that rather. Um, and she did an amazing job. One of the characters in particular, I the original design was like a half moon head, and I
Mm-hmm.
wanted him to be a crescent moon because he's a crescentaur actually, and she designed him perfectly. It's one of her favorite characters as well. But you can see how she's brought her passion into creating these 2D animals or 2D aliens, sorry, and how it's organic, and the imagination that both mine and hers just amalgamated together was incredible. She loves the characters, which resonates in everything she draws, and it resonates for other people, both adults and children. So on that one, it's been an incredible journey to see that, and then also having them actually in plush format,
Mm-hmm.
which it's similar to my original design, but just it looks more polished for me. So that's the whole little character. It
Mm-hmm.
looks a bit more polished. It's amazing to see. It's something that, no name dropping, but I'd love to see in Harrods. Um,
Someday.
on the other hand, with Crazy Hog, there was a bit of a different process for us because uh, four of the characters are real animals that we have.
Mm-hmm.
So we've got two dogs, Sir Lawrence Huffington the hedgehog, and Helen the tortoise.
Mm-hmm.
But the rest of them were all my imagination. And trying to take a blue penguin, like if you've ever seen an image of a blue penguin before, what they look like, they're small little like fairy penguins, they call them.
Mm-hmm.
um, Having a blue penguin in a squirrel onesie outfit was difficult to see at first, but the illustrator we've used for that, Becca Harvey, she made him come to life. He looks incredible. His personality shines through, and from that we were able to create a plush version, which is this little guy. So he looks amazing. Oh, he's granted a big plush, but he looks amazing and incredible and in disguise. It's just it's a really incredible process. So when we saw the first version of him in 3D format that she'd created, it was like, that's Wally. That is who we want. That was just amazing to see. And then from there, creating the plush version, it was one of those days that was very emotional for both of us
Mm-hmm.
because Mira, and who unfortunately couldn't join us today, my co-founder and partner, um, she's never liked plush animals. She's never liked children's books.
Mm-hmm.
It's not something that she's enjoyed until she met me, and I completely turned her world upside down with that. And when she saw Wally for the first time, it's like, that's my favorite plush ever. I mean, I know it's a bit biased because it's
Of
our
course.
plush, but she fell in love with the character, and she's my biggest fan and my biggest supporter, which is incredible to work with. But yes, I hope that answers the question at least.
Yes, definitely. I mean, I can for sure see the passion that you put into the project, which shines through to everything. I think from the toys to the animations to the results that you're getting, because it's clear to me that you are passionate about what you're building, and that's amazing to see, and actually kind of envious, or it creates envy. So definitely something that you should treasure and keep for a long time. I'm curious now, maybe we can talk a bit more about what role has content played in building all of these world. I mean, I'm sure you use the characters for your content. So how does that process you looks? Which types of content have you created, etc.?
So I'm a big fan of Instagram,
Mm-hmm.
very visual, but I like how Instagram is laid out in the application. Still holding on to Facebook, if that makes sense. One of the older platforms, and being a business as well as wanting to engage with other businesses, LinkedIn is definitely one of the top three that I enjoy using. We create content across all of them.
Mm-hmm.
Mira and is trying to navigate TikTok because obviously that's the latest platform to utilize. Navigating it is the correct word to use, if I can put it that way. It's just that it's so vast and there's a lot of content on there.
Yeah.
But definitely Instagram would be our top platform to use content wise. Um, with having external illustrators, it helps because they've created quite a lot of the poses for us and a few illustrations as well. Their main focus at the moment is working on the illustrated books that we have coming out in a couple of
Mm.
months. But from there, Mira actually works mostly on creating the content for us, utilizing Canva, which has
Okay.
been a godsend of an application to use. It's user friendly. It's got everything you need in it, and it helps taking the illustrations of the characters and then turning them into uh, creating stories with them, or creating little gifs with them, or short little videos that we can create, and that helps us grow organically on our social media and engage with our audience. The one thing that she has found, however, with regards to content, is a lot of people like personal stories. So having a photo where we're showing Wally, or for instance, with Wally going on adventures to Oxford or Cambridge, or he's currently now in the US,
Mm-hmm.
people engage more with photos of the characters and seeing what they're doing and seeing what they get up to.
Mm-hmm. Interesting. Yeah, I'm impressed that you mentioned Canva because I mean it's a tool that you can use for very simple things, but then it has so much potential, right? If you learn how to utilize it, and I guess that's the journey that you've been through. Because for me, it is I use it every day, but I'm sure I'm using only like 2% of what it can actually do. Seeing that you are using it to generate your content that's much more animated based and everything.
Not just generating content, but we also use it to create the books themselves as well. We've
Mm-hmm.
got a few just activity books and coloring in books that we have on Amazon at the moment, and creating those books in Canva has been a dream, definitely a
Mm-hmm.
dream.
So crazy, right? That
Mm.
the same tool that you can use to make a kind of very simple PowerPoint presentation for a client, that's the use I give it to mainly, or my designs, which are completely simple, to creating an actual coloring book that is then sold in Amazon, and that's the same tool. It's quite impressive. Yeah. So tell us a bit more, maybe about the different characters that you have, or the different projects. You've mentioned the hedgehog, the alien. So I would like to know a bit the difference between those two worlds.
So, as mentioned, the flagship project is the Crazy Bean Aliens, which we
Hmm.
currently have.
I
If
love
I
how you
can,
have all of
I
them
don't
there.
have enough hands, but we've currently got four of the plush
Hmm.
available, four of the 11 characters. So, quick storyline: it's 11 aliens from 10 planets. Their
Hmm.
galaxy was destroyed. They're now on Earth and they're trying to integrate. So, coming from South Africa, moving to London, it was an eye opener for me.
Hmm.
Also, the main personal story for me with the Crazy Bean Aliens is the fact that I sometimes have felt alienated in my life,
Hmm.
um, and that kind of shone through with creating these characters. I think it was the main purpose of creating them, feeling alienated, but also wanting to be myself and wanting to shine through with the cute and adorable personality that I have personally,
Hmm.
and who I am, just wanting to show that to people. I've done it through the aliens, if that makes sense.
Hmm.
So the story basically follows them coming to Earth, not knowing how to handle things, not knowing what the culture is, what to do, and wanting to stay individual and unique and crazy and themselves, but also being respectful of everything around them, respecting what the cultural differences are, and teaching children and adults actually how to stay uniquely yourself, but learn what's going on around you. Um, that's the main message for Crazy Bean Aliens.
Very
Whereas
important lesson, definitely.
Thank you. Whereas Crazy Hog, it's adventures of animals. I've had pets my whole entire life, and knowing how to look after them, and knowing, I tend to research a lot, if I can put it that way. So for me,
Mm-hmm.
before I even get any pet, I've already researched how to look after it, how to take care of it, what to feed it, what not to feed it, what are the main causes of issues that they have, all of that stuff. And so for me, creating Crazy Hog was be fun, be adventurous, have fun with the animals. They go on adventures together, but at the same time, it's teaching children how to look after pets,
Mm-hmm.
educating them on the difference between wild animals and pets, and why you can't actually have certain wild animals as pets. And then also just bringing a spark of creativity with a penguin in a onesie outfit. So it's both projects. I think across the board is educating children, which is part of our core value, is educating, bringing awareness to self, having fun, enjoying your imagination, and just being who you are. For me, is a massive part of what the business is, and it flows through both the projects, which I love, and it's something that Mira's connected with as well, and being able to bring out with her side of what she does with the business. Um,
Mm-hmm.
just a full disclosure, we do have about 9 other projects waiting in the wings that
Mm-hmm.
we want to bring out as well with different characters. But for now,
Good.
obviously, the company's focusing on the 2 projects.
Yeah, of course, step by step, but you already have even a bigger vision, which everything that you're explaining to me, it already feels such a big vision and such a big creative outlet that to have even more, 9 more that are waiting. I mean, I'm super excited to see where everything goes from now on, right? So tell me a bit more, what are the future projects, which are the most, not all the 9 visions that you have, but maybe what are the next 3 steps that you're going to be taking in the near future?
So not to give too much away, but
Of course.
so at the moment, even though Crazy Bean Aliens is a project on its own, they kind of connect slightly with Crazy Hog, because
Mm-hmm.
obviously the character that finds the aliens at first happens to be the owner of Sir Lawrence Huffington.
Mm-hmm.
So those intertwine in that way. And there's one other project that I'm very much wanting to write, but obviously I've got to. Mira's got to hold me back a couple of times, because I'm like, oh, we want to do this, and I want to do that, and I want to do this, and she's like, no, focus on what we have at the moment, build those up, and then we can bring out the rest.
Mm-hmm.
But the other one that's waiting in the wings is a little bit of preview. It's about a fairy and a witch, and a
Mm.
lot more animals and crazy imaginative creatures. Um, so that's all I can give away at the moment. But that also interlinks with Crazy Hog a bit as well. So those will be the flagship projects that we have under our umbrella,
Mm-hmm.
and of course we're keeping the IP of those.
Of course.
Whereas the rest of them, it's stories that I've written over the years and needed to get out onto paper that I want to bring to life, whether it's in a book format or whether it's in a short animation series.
Mm-hmm.
Just basically getting them out there, because I think their stories need to be told. Because everything that I think of or create in my mind is something that has a personal resonation for me. It resonates personally, and it's something that I'd like to teach people, or something that I'd like to just convey to others and see if they pick up on the message, or if they pick up on more messages. Um, at least trying to help with imagination and being uniquely who they are is my main focus.
Yeah, it's beautiful. And thank you actually for doing that for our society and building this awareness and educating so many children and probably also adults about everything and the messages that you are sharing, which are completely very, very important nowadays. Just to finish a bit this interview, I always like to finish with the same question. That's a bit of a selfish one because I love reading books. So, if there's any book that has inspired you, especially, or any book that you'd like to share with us today, I would love to hear your recommendations. I'm sure it's something very creative.
So I've actually got two.
Okay.
The very first book that made an impact on me was when I was 6.
Mm-hmm.
We were reading it in school, which is the Min Pins by Roald Dahl.
Mm-hmm.
It's not one of his more well-known stories, but the story has stuck with me to this day, that I still had flashes of the illustrations and of seeing the little min pins and just being in this different world. So that's the first book. The second one was one book that I read on my own when I was a bit older, still not even a teenager yet. But and I've actually got a copy of it today. I made sure that I got a copy of it.
Mm-hmm.
It's The Finders by Nigel Hilton.
Okay.
Also, beaten track, not a well known story, but the way he portrays the characters and just the whole storyline of it, and it's also the whole good versus evil and finding out who you are as a person, that resonated completely with me.
Interesting. Yeah. Funny you mentioned Roald Dahl because that's one of the authors I read too first when I was growing up because I went to an English speaking school. So we got a lot of his books. And now that you mention it, yeah, it would have been one of the first authors that I say I'd enjoyed reading and would remember as an impactful read of my life. So good. Thank you so much for making the time to join us today, Tam. And I hope you go on and have a lovely day.
Thank you very, very much. We
Thank
very
you.
much enjoyed meeting you too.
I mean, Tam and all of your babies. Bye bye. Thanks.
Thank you very much, Monica. Bye.